Welcome to another episode of the Blitz, where I'll be your host once again, Bryan Greer, and I will be going over Game 2 of the Mavs versus Rockets in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Once again, your Dallas Mavericks lost to the Rockets 111-99. Wow, what can you say about that game besides if you're a fan of dunk contests or the Harlem Globetrotters? I'm pretty sure you're pretty impressed if you are fans of those two things of the Rockets' performance in the end of the game because that's what it turned into. But we'll get into that later in the show. First off, I want to go over the first quarter where the Mavericks actually ended up winning the first quarter 24-23, but started off the game once again looking very rocky, committing 6 turnovers. And again, Rajon Rondo getting off to a very slow start and just looking very uninterested and not motivated out on the court. Very sloppy passes and actually had an 8-second violation turnover, which is just unacceptable and embarrassing. Once again, Dirk started off the game rebounding well, but sloppy passing, missed shots. They just looked once again like they were sleepwalking through the first 6 minutes of the quarter, but picked it up towards the end of the quarter. And I was just shocked that they actually led this quarter because the Rockets should have took advantage of the Mavericks' miscues and all their turnovers because they just looked very dysfunctional and discombobulated with Rondo and Ellis in the backcourt just not on the same page. Chemistry all over the court was just not there. So in the first quarter, you had the Mavericks just not in any kind of sync or rhythm. But you did have J.J. Barea come in to stabilize the offense at the end of the first quarter. I believe he had 6 points after Rondo did get, I think, a couple of fouls in the first quarter. But besides that, there was really not a lot else going on the Rockets side in the first quarter. You did have James Harden once again getting to the free throw line. You had Dwight Howard in there really causing havoc in the paint, getting a couple dunks, and they really just should have took advantage more of the Mavericks' miscues and got a bigger lead. But if you're a Mavericks fan, you had to be very, very happy with them having a 1-point lead after the first quarter. Now, going into the second quarter, the Mavericks finally got their turnover under control, only committing 1 turnover. You had Monte Ellis really get it going in this quarter, had 11 points. He really started to get his groove and hit a very crucial 3 at the end of the quarter to only be down by, I believe, 1 point. That was a really big shot. He was just starting to attack the rim, doing what he should have been doing in the first quarter to start the game. But the Rockets, once again, with James Harden, really attacking the paint. And even though he was not making a shot, he just lived at the free throw line once again. I think he had 13 free throws. They made all 13 free throws this game and was just once again in a very good groove. You had Josh Smith having foul trouble in the first half. I believe he had 3 fouls. He never could get it going. Shooting ill-advised threes. If you're a Mavericks fan, you love to see that. But once again, you had Corey Brewer hitting another 3 that you cannot have and making a lot of outlet passes and getting layups and things of that nature. You cannot have him scoring if you're a Mavericks fan. You do not want to see that. That's what the Mavericks cannot have, and they once again allowed Corey Brewer to have 15 points in this game and just be effective on both ends of the court. Dwight Howard's a lot more active in this game, stayed out of foul trouble, actually got Tyson Chandler in a bit of foul trouble, and also I believe drew a technical on him when Tyson Chandler hacked him above the neck when he was going to the basket, and he kept his composure, started knocking down free throws in this game, which really put a wrench in the Mavericks' plans as far as hacking him and making him go to the free throw line. So kudos to Dwight Howard, who ended up the game with 28 points. He was just incredible the whole game, doing whatever he wanted in the paint and blocking shots in the second quarter. Had a tremendous block on J.J. Barea, who was going down into the paint and really just did everything that that he needed to do in this game. And this game was very nip and tuck in the first half, and just a lot of bad shots overall by both teams, and turnovers and things of that nature. So if you're a Mavericks fan, you got to be very happy that you were not down by double digits, because it felt like it going into the second half, because the Mavericks at no time in the first half seemed to have any rhythm or pace or chemistry on the court. Now, going into the second half, in the third quarter, the Mavericks once again did get behind, but pretty much able to keep close, keep within range. Going into crunch time, they had I believe Dwight Howard had 11 points in the third quarter. He was just all over the place. Start really getting his rhythm back. You did have Dirk once again not getting on point. He was only 3 for 14 this game for 10 points. In the third quarter, I thought he was going to come out firing and getting to the paint. He did not do that at all. He just settled for jumper after jumper, just not really engaged on defense at all. Honestly, it just like he just gave up on defense, just on the pick and roll, not switching, not engaging, not going to challenge his man at all. Josh Smith and Dwight Howard just eating him alive in the paint, and that happened. He has to use some of his size. We know that Dirk's a bit of a liability on defense, but he has to try on defense, and he was not doing that at all. And it was just incredible just to see how the paint was just wide open. At least hack somebody, do something. I mean, if you're going to get thrown out or whatever, you're not doing much on offense anyways. Show that you care, and Dirk was not doing that at all. And unfortunately, Rajon Rondo in the second half only played 36 seconds. That's right, 36 seconds. That's just incredible. Embarrassing that he was just mentally not engaged in the game. Got a fourth foul. Never saw him again in the game. Just wasn't there. He just didn't seem to want to really try in this game, and you just can't have that from a guy that you're expected to be the catalyst of the offense and get everybody going. And him and Rick Carlisle obviously were not on the same page, so he basically sat on the sideline the whole second half and looked very disengaged. And he ended the game with only 4 points, I think 1 assist, only played I think a little over 9 minutes, and that's very unacceptable. And I don't know what's going on with the situation, but that was just a embarrassing performance for Rajon Rondo, who we definitely expect more from, and I know the Mavericks especially expect more from, because playoff Rondo has been MIA for sure. And also, Monte Ellis has been MIA in this series so far through 2 games. In game 2, only had 8 for 23 shooting, 24 points, but 24 points with 23 shots is ridiculous. You can't have that if he's the guy that they're expected to be the leading scorer. Now with Chandler Parsons out for this game and possibly for the whole series, he has to really take it upon himself to get this team going and getting to the basket, which he did not do in this game. Once again, just all over the court. I'm still in shock at just how he just took so many bad threes, just fadeaways. Him and Dirk, just bad shot after bad shot, unable to get to the basket, seem to avoid contact. I have just never seen a playoff team that is so afraid of physical basketball like the Mavericks are. They flop. They just avoid any kind of contact in the paint. They don't want to go to the free throw line, it seems like. Even though they were 27 of 28 for this game, they just seem to not really want to be, at the free throw line and make teams pay, make the Rockets pay, because this was a game where they had to initiate more contact and get to the free throw line. They have to take it just like James Harden does. James Harden always initiating contact, always getting to the basket, and doing whatever it takes to get points. He may not shoot a good percentage, but he will get to the free throw line to balance that out. And in the third quarter, they, once again were able to, stay close and keep the game right there. And actually, we're only down by a point once again going into the fourth quarter. And to start the fourth quarter, it was actually looking good for about 2 minutes there when Mario Stoudemire and Monte Ellis got a couple shots going in, and they were active for a couple of minutes. But after that, I don't know if they just had their brains abducted by aliens or whatever. But all of a sudden, a dunk contest broke out, and the Rockets just were going down the pain with reckless abandon. Dwight Howard to Josh Smith over and over and over. Or actually, it was Josh Smith to Dwight Howard. He had 7 assists in the fourth quarter alone. That's right, Josh Smith, 7 assists. They don't need a point guard if that's going to happen. He was just able to get it to Dwight Howard. Dirk looked lost, looked like, he didn't know if he was playing basketball or whatever. Tyson Chandler seemed like he just gave up when, Josh Smith came down the lane and just dunked. And he didn't even try to, foul him or hack him or anything. It just seemed like, oh, well, we've lost this game. This is over with, That was just embarrassing fourth quarter. I don't know what happened, And I know after the game that, Rick Carlisle said that, he liked the way they played, but that fourth quarter was just unacceptable. I don't know why he could sit there and just say they liked the way they played, because they were right in this game, but just totally gave up. You cannot say they did not give up in this game in the fourth quarter, because Dirk was just abysmal on defense. That was not trying. That has nothing to do with talent or being old or whatever. He just was basically standing there, allowing Dwight Howard to get dunk after dunk after dunk. It looked like a NBA jam. I didn't know what was going on. It was just ridiculous that Josh Smith was able just to get Dwight Howard so easily and everything. James Harden sat out over half the fourth quarter because they didn't need him. He got a lot of rest, and that was just the end of it. There's nothing more you can say. So I'm pretty sure the Harlem Globetrotters, if they got to watch that, were just very appreciative of that dedication by the Rockets in the fourth quarter, because that was the game in the fourth quarter. They just ran over the Mavericks, outscoring the Mavericks 30-19 in that quarter. And I don't know. I don't know where the Mavericks go from here, honestly, because going in the fourth quarter, I thought they were really gonna, make a run to get a game and, steal one on the road and make it a 1-1, but that was just not gonna happen. The Rockets just broke out a dunk contest, and the Mavericks seemed to not want to do anything about that. As far as this series goes, I don't know what's gonna happen with the Mavericks. They right now just a team that doesn't seem to have a direction. They just look like emotionless. They didn't really try. They just gave up in the fourth quarter. But you are talking about the Rockets, who, do have Dwight Howard, who we know is up and down, had a tremendous game this game. Josh Smith had a tremendous fourth quarter. Of course, James Harden. But, going to game 3, it's do or die for the Mavericks, because they come out in game 3 and look the same way they did in the fourth quarter. Then this series is going to be over very quickly. And there's not going to be much to say, because Rajon Rondo has to be engaged in this series for the Mavericks to win it all, because they can't have J.J. Barea and Raymond Felton as their main options at point guard, because right now that's the way it's looking. It's looking like those are going to be the two guys, because Rick Carlisle and Rajon Rondo are back at each other after the game. Rick Carlisle said you have to ask Rajon Rondo if he wants to play or whatever, so that was a big statement by Rick Carlisle. He didn't want to talk about Rajon Rondo, was agitated, and I can't blame him. But that goes both ways. It seems that they're just not wanting to communicate and get on the same page. And this is just really a abysmal performance for the Mavericks. They are a veteran team. I don't see how you have a veteran team like this and you don't go out there and give it your all in that fourth quarter when you're only down a couple of points and actually had a lead in the fourth quarter. You just get runned over and seem to want to do nothing about it. So even in that fourth quarter, Josh Smith was just doing whatever. I just didn't know if he was going back to his Atlanta Hawk days when he was a rookie or, in the second year, because that's the thing about it. Just to let you know how bad Mavericks defense was, the Rockets between Dwight Howard and Josh Smith combined for 39 points, 20 rebounds, and 11 assists. That just can't happen if you're going to beat the Rockets. That right there is something Mavericks have to correct in Game 3, or they're going to be out of the series very soon, because James Harden doesn't have to go off in this series, it doesn't seem like, because the Mavericks are not even giving them, much resistance. So right now, it is not looking good if you're a Mavericks fan in this series, because They have so many issues to fix. Their defense and everything, they're not trying. But I do want to give, kudos to Al-Farouq Aminu, who was just out there doing whatever he could. He was really trying on defense, getting blocks, getting steals, getting a couple points, even hit a three-pointer. He was very good all over the court. And also Amari Stoudemire was really out there giving a full max effort. But besides those two guys, I didn't see a whole lot of max effort in the fourth quarter and the whole game on the defensive end because that's something that just, cannot happen. And I just believe that, Rick Carlisle's got to call these guys out and really just, come up with something, because if they're just not going to give an effort, then this series, like I say, it could be over very quickly, and it won't be much to talk about. But what changes be made in the offseason, which most of the guys for the Mavericks are up as far as their contracts at the end of this season. So Game 3 is a do or die for the Mavericks. They have to come out wanting to play defense because they did score 99 points. It's not about the offense, it's about the defense. So they're coming home. You would think that, being in front of the home crowd, that's going to rev them up and get them more focused. But who knows with this team, because this year they did not defend the home court like they should have. So going into Game 3, I have no idea what could happen. It could be another dunk fest for the Rockets. It could be just another, whatever. It's just so confusing to see why the Mavericks once again find themselves in a position where they're lacking effort. You just can't, have this if you're the Mavericks and all the money you put into this team. So with that being said, I want to hear, your guys' comments in the comment section. What do you think about Rajon Rondo and Rick Carlisle? Do you think he should be benched? Do you think he should play in Game 3? What about Dirk? His performance, only, shooting 3 of 14. Want to hear your thoughts about the fourth quarter. What about Game 3? Is it going to be the Mavericks come back and showing, they're going to be in this series for the long haul, or is it going to be a short one? So really looking forward to what you guys are going to say, and I will be back once again after Game 3 with another recap. So with that being said, it's been another episode of The Blitz. And as always, like this video and always subscribe to our YouTube channel, Unrivaled Multimedia. And with that being said, take it easy.